Let's start with some macroeconomic data. The Financial Samurai recently reported that 97% of the median American household's net worth consisted of their primary residence. Deutsche Bank reported that 30% of American households have no wealth outside of their primary residence. If you've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you probably see where I'm going with this. For most Americans, your primary residence will return something comparable to an old school CD, call it around 2 to 3% annually, basically matching inflation. What that means is that most Americans aren't really building wealth, at least not quickly. But you probably already knew that about primary residences. For those of us in the middle or upper middle class, where's the next logical place to put extra capital to build wealth? Easy. Let's look at the stock market. We've all heard that the stock market generally appreciates at, call it, 7% annually on average. With a 401k, your company can match your contributions up to a certain point, and with IRAs too, you can save money on taxes after retirement. That's great! If your company matches, say, $4,000 and you put in $4,000, you have doubled your money. But you probably also know where I'm going with this too. Obviously, doubling $4,000 once a year will take a long time to build serious wealth, especially as that combined $8,000 for 1 year at a time will only grow at around 7% going forward. For all intents and purposes, the stock market is a single-digit annual return. So for middle class and lower class Americans, the overwhelming proportions of their respective net worths comprise of their primary residences and stock portfolios, both of which provide single-digit annual returns. Oh, and don't forget capital gains tax on sold stocks, which your IRA will only help if you have already retired. Okay, so even if you hadn't heard this before, you probably get the gist. Most people put their wealth in single-digit return vessels, which is perfectly fine for capital preservation plays, but you didn't tune in for that. Instead, let's look at my portfolio. As of this recording, 66% of my net worth comprises of general partnerships within mobile home parks. Roughly 5% lies in limited partnerships in mobile home parks. Roughly 5% in IRA/401k stocks. 15% in cash, and maybe 9% in my primary residence. Let's break this down even further. My GP ownership has provided me with triple-digit returns. I'm talking, I've doubled my money and some, and going forward, I'm hitting double-digit returns. My LP ownership consists of steady double-digit returns. Oh, and I also get some depreciation off both to shield my ordinary income. The cash I sit on really is meant for GP and LP investments within mobile home parks, so I really only have that in the single-digit returns bucket on a technicality. Then finally, you have my home and my stock portfolio. So really, 66% of my net worth, give or take, sits in the triple-digit returns bucket, 5% in the double-digit returns bucket, and roughly 30% sits in the single digits bucket, but really about half of that is meant for the triple and double digits buckets. While what I am doing is super risky for a lot of reasons, I'm not alone. According to the Motley Fool, ultra high net worth investors on average have 50% of their assets in alternative investments, meaning vessels besides cash, the stock markets, and bonds. While I am nowhere close to the ultra high net worth investor threshold, I have basically stolen a move out of their playbook with over 70% of my net worth focused around alternative investments. From the passive income to the active income to the appreciation, and heck, let's not forget the tax shields. The way I have game planned my wealth growth focuses heavily around being a business owner. It is that simple. So now, let me ask you this. Do you have an LLC? Do you expense things through it? Do you find ways to own real estate and obtain depreciation as well as other tax benefits? Do you try every day to build skills to become a better business owner, like learning Spanish or building your network? On the one hand, this episode may make it sound really easy, right? Oh, just put all your money in investments that provide triple-digit returns. Duh! If it was only that easy. The truth is that, well, what I've done isn't actually that hard. I hate to say it, but all it took was courage, dedication, and lots of sacrifice compounded over years and years. It took being different. You can do that too. There's nothing stopping you from teaching yourself Spanish, or quitting your job and moving into a mobile home park, or doing your own accounting to improve your underwriting skills. Don't forget, it took me years, literally years, to build a network, hone skills, and even to find mobile home parks in the first place, which turned out to be my passion that drove me every day to work hard. Whether it's mobile home parks or self-storage or something completely different, like starting a plumbing company or an SEO business, the point here is that you need to focus on alternative investments. Traditional, single-digit return investment vessels are important for capital preservation. They'll help you build and sustain wealth slowly and over time. But if you want to get rich, you'll have to be different. And to be different, look no further than what the rich do.